Tim, should we tell the listeners how to join the Golfweek Amateur Tour?
Yes, of course. We should probably do it now before we forget, though.
I agree. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.
And remember, this podcast can be found on all the major platforms. So make sure you like, download, and share it with all your friends and family.
Chris, that's a great idea. Now, on to the show. Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, you know what, Tim? It's good to be back. I think we had a great national championship on both sides, and get ready to start, season 2 of our podcast and another season of Golfweek and Senior. So looking forward to getting all that planned. How about yourself?
Well, I'm looking forward to it on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm not. And, we'll talk about it, later in the show. I already started booking some courses, and, it's the ups and downs part, right there. But, once the schedule's built, I'll definitely be excited to get started again.
Right. That's how it is with everybody. Let's get that schedule finalized, and then we can rest for a month, and then we're back in the grind.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and get this thing started, and we'll start talking to some senior national champions.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast. We are your hosts, Tim Newman and Chris Rocha. As the oldest and largest amateur golf tour in the country, we put on individual stroke play golf tournaments that are handicapped by flights in 48 markets across the country. The Golfweek Amateur Tour, where amateurs play like pros.
All right, Tim, we're back for another episode. We talked to our last episode. We had kind of our chats with the Golfweek champions. And I think this episode, we're going to go ahead and talk to some of their senior champions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This first year that, we've talked to the senior champions. I know you had to take off on Monday, so you didn't stick around, but there were a lot of good matches. Sea Flight went into a playoff. Overall, there was a lot of tight matches, and maybe at the end we'll talk about your Ryder Cup deal.
Yeah, definitely. I know with the seniors, they don't get the luxury of 3 rounds like we do. So every round does count. But let's kick it right into it.
Yeah, you got to remember something now. Most of the seniors play the Golfweek side, so they're playing 3 rounds.
True.
And then, you got to take Monday off, and then there's a skins game. And then 2 more rounds. That's a lot of golf, man. I mean,
hey,
even if you're 20, that's a lot of golf. And these seniors do a heck of a job. Like I said, they come into Golfweek, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If they're playing the skins game before that as well, that's a heck of a lot of golf.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. So I guess I should start looking forward to it when I able to join the seniors, because that's going to be at least a 2 weeks trip at that point.
I'm okay with
that. But let's go ahead and start with talking with our one of our senior champions from the D Flight and the Columbus Tour, Robert Benavides. Robert, how you doing?
Good. You pronounced that really good. So yes,
we're used to that last name from El Paso, so
okay,
it works out perfect. Well, congratulations on being the D Flight senior champion. How's it feel?
It's really hard to believe that I actually did it. So I'm still not with it yet. So it feels good, but still kind of surreal about the whole thing too. So,
well, you're one of the guys that we just talked about, because you also played in the Golfweek side, Friday, Saturday, Sunday beforehand, and to come back and I think your first course was the Cupp course for the seniors.
It was first Cupp was a Cupp, yes.
And that's one of the toughest courses that we play. As you can see, I'm sure you've been around since 2017 with playing on the Golfweek side as well. So you
right.
Probably played on just about all of them. And the Cupp course, it's tough, but it's a different type of tough than the other courses on the island.
That is so true. Yes. I think I played it once, but going back to it again, it was like, I don't remember this course at all.
So you finished round one with a 96, kind of walk us through, your first round and what you were thinking.
Well, when the first day rolled around, and the other guy, Chris, was talking about how many days of golf we played. So I did play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, played again Monday, played again Tuesday, and then started the round again Wednesday, and then just all Thursday. So I was kind of tired. So the first day was, I just wanted to do bogey golf. This was my goal the whole time. And I threw up a couple triples and threw up a couple birdies, but it was a tough course.
Well, you did get a skin. So that was one birdie.
I did get a skin. Yeah, that was on the back. So I was really surprised that it even held up. But I'll go with it. So
it's pretty cool.
I'll take what I can get. Yes.
Hey, I got my first skin this year in 4 years of national championships. So they're nice. I think I need to get more.
So when the round was over, I was looking at the leaderboard, and I think I was down like 4 strokes. Mm-hmm. And staying is pretty tough anyway. So,
he is.
And I played with him and against him throughout the summer or throughout the years too. So I know he was kind of hard to beat. And, but my thought process was just do bogey golf. That's all I wanted to do, is just do bogey golf and try to stay away from the triples. So looking at the leaderboard, I was down 4, and then going into the next day, it's like, all right, just stay on task, try not to throw up some triples, and just stay with your game and not worry about what he was doing and just play the course. So that first 9, I shot a 45, and I think I threw up 1 triple, but I felt pretty good. And then when we made the turn, all the cylinders was just firing. So I ended up shooting a 40 on the back, and I was pretty impressed with my plan for the whole 18.
Yeah, you shot 85 on round 2, and again, now the Country Club of Hilton Head course is very, very different than the Cupp course. It's wide open. Getting the rough is a little tough, but that's one of the reasons why I like Country Club of Hilton Head is because it's so wide open.
Yes, it is,
and you can make mistakes that aren't really going to penalize you. But heck, Rob, you shot an 85.
Yes,
that's. I mean,
that's solid.
Looking back over your scores from your history, I think you shot an 84 once and a couple other 85. So this is almost like a career round for you, in a pressure packed important moment.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way, but yes, it was. I just wanted to just do bogey golf. That's all I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to shoot a round of my life. I was just wanted to stay in there, and I know staying was in the back of my head, but it was like, well, just stay on point. That's all I wanted to do, is just stay on point. And it felt pretty good. So, and everything was just working. When I made the turn, the drives was just right down the middle, and the iron shots was just coming in, and chips was working, and I was able to shoot a 40 on the back. It was like, wow, check this out. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So you weren't paired with Stan the second day, where you were in the group right in front of him, right?
I was a group in front of him, yes.
So were you watching the leaderboard at all?
No, I was not watching the leaderboard, and the guy that I was with said, "Hey, you want to know where you're at?" And I go, "No, so shut up. I don't want to hear about it." Okay. So, we made the turn. I was throwing up some pars and all that stuff, and then when we got done with 18, he was going through all the scores, double checking everything, and then the guy I was with, he goes, "You want to know now?" And I go, "Yeah, go ahead and tell me." And he goes, "Well, you're up by 3 or 4 strokes." And I said, "All right." So everybody in my little group was talking about, well, Stan needs to do this, Stan needs to do this, or the other guy needs to do this. And they was calculating everything on that on that last part of it, it's like, all right. So, we finally made our way back into the clubhouse, turned the scores in, and one of the guys says, you better stick around because if he birdies 2 holes, you can go into a playoff. And I go, all right. And I wasn't actually looking at the leaderboard that the guy I was with was, just kept hitting that refresh button. And he goes, it ain't loading up. And I go, don't worry about it. We'll see what happens. And a few of the guys started gathering around trying to hit the refresh button and see where I'm at. And that was probably the longest 20 minutes.
Exactly.
I had. Like, come on now, let's go. And I walked around to where the tour director was at and, peeking around there to see if they pulled in. And by the time I came back to the car, because I still had my clubs on the cart because I wasn't for sure.
Right.
And one of the guys came over and says, congratulations, you got it. I go, no way. So it was pretty good. And everybody was congratulating me the whole time. So felt pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Never thought about it. So
it's an awesome feeling. A lot of times I'm at the course right when I'm the one who goes and gets to congratulate the winner, and it's great to be in that position and see the fun and see everybody cheering for you and those types of things. So that's a heck of a job.
Thank you. Felt pretty good. And I still don't believe it though. A couple of buddies of mine that I golf with still, and they go, here's a champ. And I'm thinking, stop saying that. I'm just playing. So just playing. Feels pretty good.
Well, now you're going to have a target on your back all year on being the national champion and having to come maybe defend your title.
For a second, I thought about, you know what? I'm just going to be done. That's what I'm going to finish right there and be done with it. So, yeah, I was already thinking about that. It's like, nah, I'm done. So, but it's the senior tour is fun. So, I had a good time with the guys. Everybody was really cool and never had any issues with anybody. And it was a good time. Good time. But that last day there was tired though. I was
I bet. You played 8 rounds of golf in 8 days.
Yeah. Yes.
I do that on buddies trips and I'm exhausted. I can imagine the pressure you have from a national championship twice in 8 days. I mean, that's just mentally draining. I was telling Tim earlier, I was mentally drained off a Ryder Cup singles match going all 18 holes. I can imagine 8 days of national championship pressure.
Yeah. It was, you just try to relax and just go with it and wouldn't try to overthink anything or try to overswing or just stay with the whole thing. So,
I mean, I think your game plan was great when you just said you were trying to play bogey golf. And I can imagine with the way your body was feeling, bogey golf seemed like birdie golf at one point. So just having that mindset, I think people can take moving forward.
So how do you do in the Golfweek National Championship?
So, so I showed up Thursday afternoon and a couple of buddies of mine said, hey, let's go do a quick round. And all I want to do is just, practice some shots, work on a couple things. And then when Thursday rolled around, Friday rolled around, is like, all right, it's time to get to work. And I think I shot a 90. Yeah, I think I shot a 90. Second day, I shot a 91, and third day was a 91. But I think I was only out by 3 strokes. And, after each round is done, it's like, man, if I would have done this instead, or if I wouldn't have done that instead, and I try not to beat myself over all the old shots, but I try to learn from them, thinking, all right, don't do that the next time, or set up another way and think about where you're at and try to recover.
Well, Robert, you're too modest, bud. You're entirely too modest, because what we haven't told anybody is you finished tied for second.
Yeah, tied for second. Yes. Yeah.
So, and I got Chris on that because kind of a layup there, but yeah, I mean, Robert, you're entirely too modest. You finished tied for second on the Golfweek side, and then you won the senior national championship both in D flight. that's a heck of a
That's a good week.
Yes, I agree with you. It was pretty good. Yeah. And I still can't believe that. And I hate to say it this way, but I'm more happy finishing doing really well in the regular golf tour. And I'm happy that I won the championship for the senior flight, but I was really impressed with the Golfweek side of it. It's like, wow, I tied for second.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I mean, you're playing guys of all ages. So,
yeah, the guy that I was playing with on the third round, I think he was only like, I don't know, maybe 30. He's a kid to me. Like, and he was just bombing him, but I was staying right there with him. So,
and see, Robert, I'm glad you said that because, as tour directors, Chris, you and I get this all the time.
All the time.
I can't compete with these guys because they bomb it. They do this, they do that. But, it doesn't really matter what your handicap is. If you're paired up, let's just say you're an 18 handicap and somebody else an 18 handicap. Doesn't matter how you get there. Everybody has a strength in their game. Your strength may be the short game. Somebody else's may be, they can hit it further, but they can't get up and down. So
right.
An 18 is an 18 is an 18. Don't necessarily worry about how or what other players are doing. You just play to your strengths, and you'll be just fine.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, there was another a guy in my group on the second day, and he was 81. He wasn't hitting the ball far, but he was down the middle, and down the middle. It's like, man, 81. I hope I'm doing it at that age. So
exactly,
Tim. I love when we get those comments. Hey, I can't hit it as far. I'm not as long as I used to be, but yet they're the champion of that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you just won. You beat all these guys. What do you mean you're not long enough? Like you're just fine. You're just as fine. I mean, I've taken it to consideration with me. Like I don't hit the drive long, but you put a hybrid in my hands and I can get that thing to either stop or roll out. You tell me which shot you want to see, like a wedge.
Right.
So to anybody listening, like Tim said, play your strengths and forget about your weaknesses. And as long as you get that ball in the fairway, avoid penalty strokes or lost balls, things like that, you'll be all right.
Yeah, and I know we talk about Joe Jaspers a lot, and there's a reason for that. He just won his 7th national championship, and even he says, I can't hit the ball as far as I used to, but he shot, I think he won with 3 under par, over 3 days, and so even Joe gets can kind of get that in his head, but then when he's out on the course, Joe just plays the way Joe plays, and Joe never
doesn't worry about anybody else,
and just plays golf, and I think a lot of people can learn from that.
Definitely.
So Robert, like I said, again, you've been around for a while. So what are your overall thoughts? And of the tour, you said that you really like the senior tour, and I'll let you talk a little bit about both, and I'll give you my thoughts on differences between the senior and the Golfweek side. The
senior side of it is the competition is still there, but it's really relaxed and
bingo.
It's not a high. Well, I'm not saying it was a high pressure, but it's not a really high pressure feeling when you're in the regular tour. I know we play up a little bit, and how the tours are ran are really good. I got no complaints about how Butch handles the tours or Tyler handles the tours. It's just good. It's just good. So I got no issues with the senior tour at all. So, and everybody's really nice. Everybody's friendly, competitive, but not like a cutthroat competitive, but pretty cool.
Yeah. And you first thing came out of your mouth was my feelings exactly. The senior side is way more laid back, but the competition is still tough and it's still there. Because again, you have a lot of the same guys playing both. And it's incredible the kind of the difference in that feeling for whatever reason it is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But no, I would definitely agree with y'all. I mean, I know I'm the director of a senior and a Golfweek tour. And if any of my Golfweek guys are listening, I apologize. Maybe y'all can step up. But my senior guys have a blast after their rounds. And I mean, they all hang out and, just chit chatting, you know, talking trash to each other and having a good time at the same time. And it's a lot. I don't want to say the wrong word, but I can't even think of a word right now. Like you said, it's funner to be around that group, and me being 20, 25 years younger than them all and still seeing them act like they're 30, 25, 30 years old is something else.
Experience. That's what it is.
Well, Robert, thank you so much for taking some time with us, and congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
You know, and again, don't be so modest. Let people know that you won one and tied for second in the other.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So yes, thanks. Yeah,
and when you see Butch and Tyler again, tell them I said hi. And yeah, I've been trying to get Butch on this for a year, and he keeps ducking me. He can't keep that up. So you gotta let him know he's got to come on.
Butch is a hell of a guy. He is a clown. So
love the guy.
He is. Mm-hmm. He makes everything pretty cool. So
he does.
Yeah, but I will tell him that though. Sure.
All right, my friend. You take care. And again, thanks so much for taking some time with us.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So let's welcome in our next guest. Sea Flight National Champion, John Bowman from the Charlotte Tour. John, congratulations and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, and really excited about being with you today and answer some questions.
Well, you know, winning the national championship is a big deal. You know, the 2-day competition, you know, and you're going head to head with other leaders from players all around the country. I know there's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of fun, and you played 2 great courses.
Yeah, I got to play, first day I got to play Arthur Hills. First thing I realized is no matter how long that I've played golf, it seems like the butterflies and the nervousness and all that kind of stuff was really got to me to start with. But I kind of leveled out, had a good day playing Arthur Hills.
Well, yeah, you shot a really good round of 82 at the Hills course. And I'll tell you, you know, the Sea Flight for National Championship played probably the toughest rotation of courses. The Hills course, I think, is probably one of the toughest courses that we play. And then, you know, we'll talk about the Cupp course here in a second, but the Cupp course is tough in a different way. You know, you've got to do a lot of thinking there. The green structures there are a little bit different than most of the other courses on Hilton Head. But the Hills course, to shoot an 82, now you were low round of the day at 82. You know, that's a pretty big accomplishment in and of itself.
Very happy with how I played. I started out on hole number, I believe it was 12, one more than handicap holes on the back 9. And I had practiced a couple of days before that. And then I played the round and had some trouble with the 12 and 13. And then I seen that I started on 12 and even made me a little bit more nervous. But after getting the first 2 holes out of the way, I kind of really relaxed. And the course, great shape. I thought the greens were a little bit slower than I expected, but tiny greens, tough course. I played really good. I was really happy with the conditions and everything for everything around there.
Yeah. So again, you know, with starting on, you know, number 1 handicap hole, you know, that back stretch there where you started, you know, I kind of chuckle a little bit because those are really, really tough holes. And, you know, one of the things with the Hills course is the amount of trees that are there. You know, people don't realize, you know, even when we had the hurricane here, you know, a number of years back, how tough the course is now and how many trees that were lost from the Hills course from that hurricane. If you can imagine how tough it was before based on what it is now.
And I never played it before. So having that many trees missing, I can only imagine how much more tougher it would have been.
Yeah.
And
it was bad.
You know, there was, after the first couple holes that I played, there was a handful of holes that I had to build up my confidence a little bit. I teed off with like a 7-wood and a 5-wood for 2, 3, 4 holes in a row to get the nerves out of my hands and nerves out of my arms until I could get my driver back out and start hopefully attacking and making some good shots. I think overall everything kind of worked out right. Obviously, having a low round there, it seemed like when I missed, I was on the great side of the green. And everything just kind of worked out. I mean, I think it has to win it.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you got to have, you know, 36, you know, decent holes, you know, to win. Are there any other holes that really kind of stuck out to you from the Hills course?
The Hills, I mean, 12 and 13, I really stuck in my mind because I knew I had to start there, and my practice round, I played them holes bad, and in the first round of the competition, I played them holes bad. So them 2 holes really stick out. If I ever go back, I really, really want to try to make it a point to try to play them better. I don't know how. I mean, without being nervous is the big thing, but just making sure you're in play and missing the greens on the right side where you have a decent chip to try to make par, or at least keep it to a bogey and not 3-putt, is the main focus I had in that whole round, and it seemed to work out pretty good. Really impressed with the course.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things with, really any tournaments that you play in, but especially national championship, staying away from the big number, staying away from doubles and triples. If you, as a C-flight player, if you make, 12 bogeys and 6 pars, you're in the mix. All of a sudden, I mean, that's all you have to do is, again, stay away from those big numbers. So then you're leading after day 1. You go home and you're sleeping on the lead, and you're paired with Dennis Guerrero from Michigan. You're 3 shots ahead, and so you're playing with him all through the round. What was that like?
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
I tried not to let the people I played with bother me score-wise. I just tried to I tried to play my game. And again, I'm a person that I think I'm a 0 handicap on the driving range. And then
exactly.
the course,
right.
Play good. But I really started out really good. Guys introduced, talked to everybody. Everyone seemed relaxed. I really liked all 4 people I played with. And I started out with 2 pars. And then I think I hit a bad shot. I think an approach shot kind of got a bad bounce. And I was kind of thinking back a little bit. I got chipped up, and then I was 3-putt or something. And all of a sudden I had like a little bit of a double bogey train going on. And it took me quite a few holes to try to get rid of that a little bit, take a deep breath, and focus on the game again. And in the middle of the round, I really got it together and started playing really good. I think the biggest fault I had was I'm not a big person who looks at the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have hurt me in the long run at the end, where I think I should have played a little bit more safe, and I kept going for it at the end, and I ended up losing the lead I had. But overall, I think the breaks and stuff I got the first day versus the second day, sometimes myself in a little bit different position where I really had to work on trying to get up and down and struggle a little bit more second day than first day. My score regulated that a little bit, but I think everyone in the group had the same thing. So I think it was the course setup. I think Robert Cupp course was fast, and I wasn't quite as good as that. But I think everyone else struggled in their group too. So I think it was overall the way the course was set up. It was kind of pretty tough.
Yeah, the Cupp course is tough in a much different way than the Hills course is. You've got to be smart to playing Cupp. You can't always be hitting drive, or you have to really think about where you're placing your shots, especially on the par 5s. The green structures are smaller, and like you said, they're much faster. So you really have to be careful about where you miss. And you say that you had a little bit tougher time, but the low score for the Cupp course was 85. So you were only 4 strokes back from the low score. Most of the scores were 90s and above. And so you're battling back and forth with Dennis through those 18 holes. Where Dennis shot 86, and you came in with an 89. That's still not, a bad round, for that course.
No, I was pretty happy overall. Everything transpired and how I played. I was very happy. Just the biggest thing, nervousness at the end, and I think at the last hole, I triple bogeyed the last hole till I hit one out of bounds, there's where I was saying that I didn't look at the scoreboard and realize that I had a 3-shot lead on Dennis. I think that would have been a perfect opportunity to maybe tee off with a 7-wood or 5-wood, get myself in position and just play for a bogey. Instead of trying to hard, hit a really nice shot over that water. And it didn't work out so good. The only the good thing is after it was all done and we ended up tying, which I thought I lost, truthfully, after having a triple on the last hole. So then I kind of down my bearing straight. I ended up going in, and I think I had a drink and talked to my wife. My wife settled me down a little bit and said, "Hey, you got a whole new outlook. You got another hole to do what you got to do." And I just kind of relaxed, and me and Dennis talked a little bit. We shook hands, and we said, "Hey, we both are here. It doesn't matter what happens. If you were then told that you could get second place, even if you're the loser in this playoff, would have you been happy at the beginning?" We both looked at each other and said, "I think we both had a pretty good weekend." And we both shook hands, and we went off to the tee, and we took off. And I ended up redeeming myself on 18 at the Cupp course because I triple bogeyed it going in, and then I parred it to win it. So I felt really good.
That's awesome. So walk me through the playoff hole. With you and Dennis, where was your tee shot compared to his tee shot?
We started out and he had to draw for we teed off first. And one of the guys that was with us, he had 2 tees in his hand, and he asked Dennis, because he was in the hole first on 18. He said, "You get to draw first, and whoever draws a short tee has to tee off first." So Dennis drew, and he drew with short tee. So he has to go off first. So he's got a little bit nerves versus me, I guess. He tees off. Didn't have that great of a tee shot off the left-hand side, a little bit short. I had a driver in my hand, and I knew right away he was not going to be able to reach it too, so he was going to have to play for like bogey. So I ended up going back to my bag, getting a 5-wood. I hit a 5-wood out in the middle. Perfect shot. Could hit it no better. And then he hits his second shot off to the middle, and he's pretty close to the same spot I am. He was in the long grass to the left, and he had not a very good lie, and he hit off, and he's pretty close to me. We both looked at each other, and he looks at me, and I look at him. And I said, "Who do you think's out?" He goes, "I think you are." I said, "Well," I go, "let's kind of look." We brought up our GPSs, and I think I was 3 yards closer than he was. So now the pressure's back on him. He hits his shot and at the green, and he hits it short of the green left. And we can't tell if it went in the water or not, or if it was short. So I said to myself, he's still chipping for par. I can go for the green and hopefully lock us up. That green at 18 was unbelievable. Left, you're in trouble. Long, you're in trouble. So it's crazy. So I just kind of looked back a little bit, and I kind of thought about the mistakes I made through the day. And I grabbed my gap wedge, and I hit my gap wedge up there, left-hand side of the green, left hand, just a little bit short. I was trying to play for like a 70, 80-yard wedge shot in. And he ended up walking up there, and he said that he was in the water. So he walks back, he chips up, he's on the green. So that's what's 2, 3, 1 or 4, 5 on the green. Looks like he's got about maybe a 6-foot putt for double, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hit my sandwich. I grabbed up, hit my sandwich. I said, just going to play in the middle of the green. I hit it right over the flag, went a little bit long, and sucked it back and rolled all the way back to within like 12 inches from it. And I'm just sitting there. My hands are shaking. So once I walk back, I look at my wife. She's kind of watching. I just kind of grip my fist a little bit. I'm going, I think I did it. Kind of led back, and I'll just kind of laugh a little bit and just kind of have both hands of my gripping my fists, and I threw my club back in there, and just, it was a relief. It really was. I didn't want to be in a position where I have a soft grip and chip. So it worked out really good. I was really good. And it's sunk in. Once I made the putt, it finally sunk in on the wall to my wife, and she just goes, you won the whole championship over everybody. And it finally sunk in, like, I did it. I didn't realize I did it until I walked back to the cart and talked to her. Pretty exciting.
That's awesome. And the nerves that you have going into it, and to be able to pull that out, it's incredible. And, to do it in a playoff like that, when every stroke really counts, that's a pretty good accomplishment. Congratulations.
Oh, I appreciated it. It was fun. It was the first time that I was at the Nationals, and to win it, that's kind of be unreal. There's probably a lot of people that have been there a lot of times that haven't been the opportunity. So to have it, and I'm glad I finished strong. I'd have been happy with second. I'm glad I finished strong and won it. And the overall experience was great.
Well, good. And so you've been on tour for a relatively short period of time. I think this was your second year.
I think it's the fourth year I've been in.
Okay.
4 years.
So what are some other highlights that you've had, overall?
And this past year was the first year that I finally won an event. And I think I only won one event, sea flight event, and I won it at a 2-day event this Charlotte. It was Skybrook and I believe the Peninsula were the two that get in the Charlotte area. Two pretty tough courses. And we had about 20 or so people, 22 people in it to begin with. And that was the first one I won on the same thing. I was about 3-4 strokes behind him on the second day. Then I had the low round day at Skybrook, ended up winning that by the one stroke or 2 strokes.
All right. And, so let me just stop you there, because I just pulled up your scores. Okay. And so you shot 82-89, just like you did at National Championship, 82-89.
Yep.
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
To win it.
It was 89 the first day, 82 the second day.
Yeah. How about that?
It was kind of reversed.
Uh-huh.
And a really, really exciting day. And it was kind of, I wasn't playing with the leader, so I didn't know how they were doing. And the same thing again, I didn't look at the scorecard at all. And I was going into the back nine. I just kind of said, just play your game, play to the center of the green if you ever get a chance. Play, if you get in trouble, get back out, play for bogey. And if you're lucky enough to get a par putt, maybe you can make it. Just don't get the big numbers. And I had a good back nine and ended up with a good 42 on the back, and ended up, I think, winning by one or two. Same score, which is kind of weird.
It is. Well, John, thank you so much, and congratulations on winning the national championship. You've got a target on your back now for next year, so
absolutely.
I'd suggest you get practicing.
I do. I've only played once since then, but I think I got out there a couple of days ago when the weather was still warm, and now the weather just turned cold here. First day we've had cold weather. It's supposed to be a cold stretch for a week, so I think it'll be another few days before. But I'm lucky enough to be with my wife. She plays a real good game of golf, and when I can't play with some of my buddies, I can play with her. So it's one thing about golf. You can do that for a lot of years, and I think I'm pretty special with my wife that she loves golf too. I don't think she loves it as much as me, but she plays the game and she's competitive, and we enjoy it together.
Well, that's awesome, and it's great that you all can spend some time together, doing something that you really both enjoy. Have that relationship on the course as well.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that.
Well, thanks again. I appreciate you taking some time with us, and I look forward to seeing you in 2024.
Yeah, same for you. I'd like to meet you in person. That would be really great. Hopefully, I'd be able to do it at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Take care, John.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, Chris, that was a great conversation with John Bowman. I think the Sea Flight has this thing with playoffs. They're the only one this year with playoff. And last year, the Sea Flight, I think, did a 5-hole playoff.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, playoffs are fun, but when you're doing it for a national championship, I can imagine the pressure that you could be feeling trying to win, the biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah, and I've been in 1 or 2 playoffs just on a regular tournament, and that's one thing. But like you said, a national championship, it's the pressure, and we talk. We're going to talk a little bit later, about the Ryder Cup and playing shot for shot. But when you're in a playoff to win the national championship, and it's just the two of you out there, and you're literally playing shot for shot, that's got to be the pressure of a lifetime for our guys.
Oh yeah, you can't even think about it, and trying to figure out who's going to hit first, and all of that. It comes down to the nitty gritty at that point.
Exactly. So like we talked about all of the senior national championships, were really close, and the A flight was a 1-shot difference, and so let's bring in our A flight national champion, Mike Dallas from Eastern North Carolina. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
you were, I think you were 3 shots back after the first day, and you played. Actually, you were over there with me at Oyster Reef on Wednesday. Tell me about your first round.
Well, the Oyster Reef was a complete different course than Trent Jones. Hit a lot of irons off the tee box, and I don't know. I was just kind of going around. I really didn't know what anybody else was shooting. I didn't look at the live scoring, anything. I just went out there and just played and just tried to have fun. Because like I said, I hadn't played much this year and was just trying to have fun and enjoy the guys' companies that were with me. That's a lot when we go down there to play about, is the getting to play with different guys. I think I had 2 guys from Michigan, and the day before in the skins match, I had guys from Cincinnati, and that's part of the fun.
Absolutely. It's yes, you're going to remember the national championship, but like you said, it's meeting those people from different cities, and we'll talk about your story from this year here in just a second. But you were really lucky to even be able to play in this year.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me. My best friend here, he texted me probably about 3 weeks prior and said, "Are you going to go down and play?" And I said, "Well, I haven't even gotten in my minimum rounds yet." And he goes, "Well, call him up and see." He said, they do have a medical, I guess, insertion that they do. And so I called up Dennis and asked him. And I had, like I think I had expressed to you, I had my knee replaced first of the year and a few complications, and it really wasn't, just kind of getting back into golf pretty good.
Well, I mean, it's not bad to get that exemption and then come out and do what you were able to do. So I mean, that's something to look positive at.
Well, it kind of leaves you with no expectations hardly. You just want to finish the round, get through it, and recuperate and come back out again and do it the next day. Really didn't know exactly how your knee, and I do have back issues, is going to react the next day. So it's always a concern. And but Dennis puts on a good tournament down there. He feeds you well, and probably the food helped out.
Yeah, and when you talk about knee replacement, when you get to the senior tour, a lot of guys have had it, but if you've not had a joint replacement, you don't truly understand what you have to go through to get back to being somewhat normal, and how long that actually takes. With the rehab and the therapy and the swelling, and like you said, you wake up one day, it could be a good day, it could be a bad day, and you have no control over some of those things. You just have to do what you're supposed to do, and hopefully that things fall into place. And then for you to go out and shoot the 2 rounds that you did, to be able to win this thing, it's a pretty incredible feat.
I try to approach, and while I was laid up, I do a lot of reading, and as far as golf and watching people swing and trying to figure out what's going wrong with mine. And one thing I did notice a lot of them do is course management, especially when you go up to the courses down there that you haven't played before.
Yes.
I went online and looked up the courses, and of course now it has a little drone that goes around and shows you the course and tells you where to put the ball. Not that I'm able to put the ball where I want to most of the time, but at least I try. And I just tried to approach it that way, and with really no expectations. And I know we'll talk about the second round in a little bit, but it just all kind of worked out, and the Lord was with me, and he just kind of just led me around, and I tried to get over the bad shots. I mean, once you hit it, it's gone. You just got to let it go. Right. You got to move on to the next shot. And the weather was beautiful. That helped out. And I've had you mentioned the surgeries, the surgery on my knee, but I had the ACL replaced in that same knee many years ago, and I had my neck operated on in 2012, and I got a metal plate in it. I had my rotator done in 2000, right around the same time, 2012. So I've had a few operations. I kind of know what to expect, but when they go to a new limb, it's always an adventure.
Yeah. Were you a scratch golfer before all these surgeries?
I was, yeah, back then, back in the day when I played a lot more, I was probably pretty much scratch, and I'm right on the borderline now. I kind of flip back and forth, championship A, but the surgeries and stuff, you never know. I never know what I'm going to do when I go out there. My timing is off, and you just can't make your body do what it used to do. And
yeah, right. You have to figure out what the new normal is, and what a lot of people don't understand. And I'm, you said your wife's a nurse, and I'm sure she's told you this. Your body's still going to be healing for another 6 to 9 months, maybe more up to a year. So you're not even going to really know what your new normal is for that long, right? Because your body is still healing, and so you're constantly adjusting to again. You really just never know what you're going to wake up to on any given day.
Well, it's kind of like the golf swing. You go out there that day, and I usually hit a draw. Well, you might not be hitting it today. You've got to adapt to how you're hitting it that day. And that day might change in 9 holes, and then you got to readapt. You might be, you might be fading the ball. Well, I got to play a fade. And then suddenly you start to draw it like you normally do. Now you got to start playing a draw. And that's what's so great and funny about golf is you never know what you're going to do when you go out there.
Right. And then so you go over to the Jones course, and the Jones course is one of my favorites, but it's really a tale of two different courses. You've got the, pretty much the front side where it's narrow. Then you get to the back and it's wide open. You have the ocean breeze. And then, those last 2 holes, 17, that is probably one of the toughest par 3s we have. And then 18's a pretty tough hole where it gets back narrow again. And, you shot 73, 1 over. Again, another pretty good round. Why don't you walk us through that round?
Well, I was 2 shots back, and I was actually in the second group. I wasn't with the leaders. I don't know if they do it by alphabetically or how you came in. I don't know, but I was in the second foursome. I was, I guess 1B.
It was done by score. So, and then tiebreakers. So I think there were a couple ties in there. So,
yeah.
The leader, and I think you were in, like, according to the tiebreaker, I think you were 5th. So you were the first one out into that second group.
Yeah. So they were behind us. So I guess we were off right before them, and I didn't look at the live scoring. I think maybe around the 14th hole, I just said, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" And because I was having a solid round, nothing real crazy. Just I think I had 2 birdies and 3 bogeys, and actually a couple of shots surprised me. The one hole that's a dogleg right par 5 there, I think they're back-to-back par 5s. Then the one that goes towards the ocean. I hit it right over the trap and didn't know that the pond came out right there.
Real.
And the guy says, "Yeah, you hit it right over the trap." I said, "Oh, that's great." Well, I go down there and I see that water. I said, "Oh my gosh." And I said, I would have never tried to hit it there if I'd have known that was there. I did know it was there, but I kind of forgot about it. And, but it was just no nonsense, just trying to keep the ball in play, not really going after anything unless I had the opportunity, like on a par 5, and scrambled. I am very good at scrambling. And I had some good shots coming in. The par 3 you were talking about, I think we had 3 people within 12 feet of the hole. And I missed that shot. I missed that putt. It was a great putt I had, but it just didn't go in. And come up to the last hole, that little short dog leg left, par 4, another iron off the tee box, and I was in the right rough and hit it up 30, 40 feet above the hole, and the pin was all the way down front. And I don't know if you know that hole, it drops straight off.
It does.
So I had to have a lag it, and I lagged it in about 3 foot and made that putt. And so that's basically the round. And I guess maybe you'll lead me into where I sat there and watched him come up, because I knew we were tied at the time.
And so I was a tour director at that course, and I was watching all day. And, it was you and the 2 Ronnies, Ronnie Fowler and Ronnie Averett, just going back and forth, because you may not have been watching, but I was watching because, I number one, I enjoy it. But number 2, I actually thought that there was going to be a playoff. And I think Ronnie Fowler missed a putt on 18, which gave you the win. I'm thinking, okay, so I got to figure out, exactly who it is, verify the score, and get him out so that they could do the playoff. And, I heard somebody say that he had missed a putt, and obviously, nobody's rooting for anybody to miss a putt, but, but it's also elation for you that you actually, won the tournament. And that's the difference.
I actually love playoffs. They're so much fun. It really tests your limits. And if I go out and I play good and another guy beats me, hats off to him.
Absolutely.
Same thing in a playoff. If I hit a good shot up there, he makes his. If I want to get beat, I want him to beat me. I don't want to beat myself.
Right.
And if they do that, I'm perfectly happy with the outcome.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about our tour, whether it's the senior side or the Golfweek side. I think that thought is pretty much universal. Obviously, there's always be 1 or 2 that think differently than that, but I think if you poll the guys, almost universally, that's their thoughts. It's good, friendly competition. If somebody beats us, and that's it. And I'm happy for you, and we'll try and get you next time.
Yeah, we at the Eastern Tour, Marty Martinez.
He does a great job.
He's awesome. He's incredible, and I think he's actually taken over the Myrtle Beach Tour too. Also now, I think he's filling in or has taken that over. So he's got a lot on his plate this year, and but he does a great job. And you always have your little bumps in the roads, but he irons them out and takes care of the players. He's always in good spirits. Him and I think his wife.
Yeah,
they both work.
Patina is great.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing on the tour?
Oh, my buddy Joe Porter and I have been playing this thing off and on for probably 15 years or more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We used to play the Myrtle Beach because I don't think there was an Eastern Tour.
Okay.
At the time, so we always made the trip down to Myrtle Beach, and I'm trying to remember the man's name down there, but we had a lot of fun down there. But I tell you that trip down there, it gets old after a while. Hour and a half there, an hour and a half back,
right,
and sometimes even longer.
Right. But since Marty's taken over up there, and I think it was called the North Carolina, maybe it was a Down East Tour or something like that. But
yeah, it might have been the Down East. Yeah.
But since Marty's taken over there, which has been a number of years now, it's really taken off. And again, he does a great job. He and Patina together do it. So they've got things rolling on all cylinders. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's exploded. The enrollment is way up, and I think guys are happy. The senior tour, it's got great rates, especially when you play during the week. Of course, now, like everything else, you're seeing prices going up.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to do it because you can play courses that you normally wouldn't get to play,
Right.
or wouldn't just travel there just to play on your own. I like to play competitive golf. I really can't stand to go out there and play by myself.
Well, what are your plans for next year?
I don't know. I like playing in Marty's, and it is during the week. So I'm trying to open up my weekends to where I stay home. But we still have some major tournaments here, like the City Open, the Senior Open, ones I still like to play in. Of course, the City Open, I'm not really a contender anymore because I don't hit it as far as I used to. So I'm kind of, you might say, human. But, I'm probably 250, 260 off the box. That's about it. And that's about it anymore. And I can't contend with these college kids.
Uh-huh. Well, Mike, thanks so much for taking some time with us tonight. I really do appreciate it. And congratulations on your national championship.
No, thank you very much. It was, it hasn't quite sunk in yet, but I know I can't. My trying to get bets now is a little tougher with this.
Uh-huh.
So I maybe got to back off a little bit.
Or don't let them press.
There you go.
All right, my friend.
That's it.
Well, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Tim, what a great conversation we had with all three of our senior champions this year, Robert Benavides, John Bowman, and Mike Dallas.
Yeah, they were great. And, all of them, had really tough tournaments. They were close all the way down to the end. With John having the one-hole playoff, Mike won by one stroke. Robert, I think, won by 2 or 3, but, it was close, all the way to the end for him. So, that's what you really, really like to see. You don't want to see, runaway scores. Really like to have that competition, right on down to the 18th hole.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how Robert said, the 20 minutes of him waiting to see what was going to happen was the longest 20 minutes he's ever had. But, that's the whole point of competition. It's just great to hear their excitement. Not everybody gets a chance to be a national champion. And when you do, just being able to share that with your friends and family is awesome.
Yeah. And again, Robert was being modest too. Remember, because he finished tied for second on the Golfweek side, and didn't even think we were going to bring it up to him.
He's focused on his wins. I guess he's the type of guy that he doesn't think twice about his losses and just focus on his win.
Yeah, but that's a great accomplishment for him and all the other champions as well.
Definitely.
I'm just going to throw this in here because as I'm looking at this computer screen here, one thing we didn't talk about was the 2-man challenge. So maybe we should just at least name off the 2-man challenge winners.
Yeah, I mean, I've been but a couple years back, 2-man challenge champion, and it does take a lot of work, and not just you playing well, but hoping your partner plays well, or at least you picked a good partner. Some people pick 5, 6, 7 different partners in hopes that they get lucky one. And the year I won, I got lucky and had the guy that actually won the tournament. So there's a lot of planning that goes involved in these 2-man challenges.
Yeah, so you hurt his back all the way in there.
Hey, I helped a little bit, but when it came down to it, and honestly, we didn't even know what was going to happen because we tied. We did the math on our own, and we saw that we tied, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And they said, you're going to go do a playoff, but only one person gets to play. And I was like, well, pat him on the back. You won, so you won the whole thing, so you get to play the playoff too.
You get one more hole.
And he pulled it off, and we took home the championship plates. So it was a good time. And to this day, I still talk to him, throughout the season. He was actually the guy who won the golden button in the tour bags. Mm-hmm. So, those are the friendships that we talk about, that you get to make and keep throughout the years.
Exactly. So let's run down the winners of the 2-man challenge real quick for senior tour. It was in the champ flight. It was Bill Schufelt and Chad Frank. In the A flight, it was Ronnie Averett and Tim Rusk. And B flight, Dave Parker and Amal Iradiraj is tour director from Indianapolis. He also was a B Flight champion, and hopefully we'll have him on next episode. C Flight is Dennis Guerrero. He finished in second place. He lost in the playoff to John Bowman. He was paired with Scott Holland. And the D Flight champions were Benton Smith and Richard Pfister.
Congratulations to all those guys.
Yes. Again, it's luck of the draw. You have to win the 2-man. Both you have to play decent, but one of you has to play really well.
Right.
And if you look at some of these scores, like again, Dennis Guerrero was in a playoff for a championship, and he won in first place. Amal won. Tim Rusk was top 5. Ronnie Averett was third. Chad Frank won. So all those people were way up in the standings on from an individual perspective.
Yeah. So obviously, like you said, sometimes it only takes one person to play really, really well and the other person to just hang in there the best they can. But when you have two guys that are on top of their games at the time, you can just run away with it.
Exactly. So again, hopefully we'll have Amal and Chad Frank on next episode. But since the national championship, you had a little competition. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah. So, 2 weeks after national championship, we usually have our Ryder Cup between Arizona and the El Paso Las Cruces tour. And I mean, we've talked about it numerous times, how much fun Ryder Cups are. Just the competition. I have one of my guys that helped me out. I swear he texts me like every other day, asking how the pairings are looking, who we're going to match up with who. I looked at the roster, how is this going to work, and this and that, which I don't mind because it takes a little pressure off of me.
Uh-huh.
He lives for this event. But it's just a great time. It was a great time. We came out victorious, won by 4 points, which is probably one of the closest ones we've had, since Gabe took over all of Arizona. So that was good to have. And we go to Arizona next year and try to be the first team to win on enemy soil. So that hasn't happened yet. I'm glad we were able to defend and get our belt back. And that tour better know I'm taking that belt every time I go to visit. And it's going to be wrapped around my shoulder.
You should.
And, Gabe had a year to try and do that to me. And unfortunately, I didn't see the belt as much as I thought I was going to. So I'm going to have to rub it out a little more and see and just let him know, let him remember.
That sounds good to me. So where'd you guys play?
We played at Sonoma Ranch Golf Club here in Las Cruces. It's an up-and-coming course. It got bought out by another course that's usually in the top 3 in the state, in the area. So they're doing some really great things out there. Just like any course, it takes a little bit of time to grow back, but they're doing great things. And I'll tell you this, we did, which one was it? It was 2-man scramble. Par 3 was about 130 yards, low downhill. I hit my shot. I was the first one to go, hit my shot, and it rolled to about a foot. I'm not exaggerating. A foot to the pin. The Arizona guy proceeds to follow me, and his goes right over the flag and then rolls to the right, spins to the right. And we were like, that thing almost went in. You know how it looks like it almost goes in from the view of the tee box, and then as you get up, you're like, oh, it's pretty far away. No, this thing looked like it was going in. As we get to the green, right, we go and look up, and my ball's obviously pretty close. This guy's divot is literally at the edge of the cup, behind the flag. So he hit there, and if he would have rolled back, it would have hit the flag and probably gone in. But he put the spin of the ball, pushed it to the right, and then he ended up being like 7 feet out. It was crazy for him to have to fix his divot right outside the cup. And then, I ended up playing against him in the singles on Sunday, head to head, and we went every shot. It was like haymakers, heavyweights throwing haymakers every hole. It was intense. And on every par 3, he wouldn't hit before me. He'd have to hit after me because he wanted that mojo from the first session. And every shot I'd hit under the green, he'd hit closer. I'd hit on it was just crazy. I guess I pumped him up on par 3s or something. I don't know.
Well, that's one of the beauties of match play that I really like, especially if you're matched up really well and you're both playing well. I mean, it really is shot for 18 holes. And, it doesn't really matter what flight you're in. If you're matched up well and you're both playing well, I mean, it's a long day, but it's a fun day.
Oh, yeah. I was more mentally drained than physically drained.
Absolutely.
After that round. I mean, there were times where I'd be in the desert and I'd see his, let's say, my second shot goes in the desert on a par 5. His second shot goes way right. And I know mentally I have a chance still.
Right.
And, stick it onto the green and put the pressure on him and see what he does. Like, it's the beauty of match play.
Yeah, it really is.
It's insane.
Really is.
Yeah, we took the victory. I'm happy. The belt is nice, put up on the mantle, nice and clean now. One of their players brought us boxing gloves and we had our team sign it as, memories for the directors. So it's always a good time.
Yeah, I really like that picture. When you texted to me, first off, I didn't realize that it was a Ryder Cup. It took me a second that it was your Ryder Cup weekend. Then I said, that's awesome. Congratulations. So that's really great.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, our tour, I know there was some whispers, I guess you could say, during the directors meetings about possibly doing some Texas, Louisiana Ryder Cup in the middle of the season. Me and Dwayne teaming up against the Louisiana tours. We'll see if that comes to fruition. And then Denver's always welcome to join ours if they ever want to. We can always use extra players.
Right. Well, you bring up, middle of the season and Louisiana. The regional list was put out this past week.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
It's exciting. It's great to see some courses that we talked about, throughout this past season. Can't wait to see, what comes out of that and go from there. It's going to be a nice schedule. Everyone's going to have a good chance to pick and choose where they'd like to go to. But I think, were there any new ones that I saw on there?
Yeah, there was a few new ones. And we'll talk about these next time, but the two that I'm really looking at, you brought up Louisiana. There's one at Tamaka Hills that Gene O'Neill's running. Yeah, Gene O'Neill from Louisiana North is running at Tamaka Hills. And the one that I'm really excited about that's new is the one at the Great Lakes Regional at American Dunes. It's a military-themed course with Folds of Honor that Michelle Gillen is running, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one goes. But there are others. So there are a total of 18. And, we'll run down all of them and talk about them a little bit, either next episode or the episode after that. But I'm pretty excited about, these. This is the most regionals we've ever had. Generally, we're right around 12, 13, 14, up to 18.
That's awesome. I want to have to work my magic pretty soon and get us a 19th one on there.
Well, I mean, if you've got some decent courses, let's do it.
Yeah, well, we'll make it work. It just like you said, it takes planning, and we want to make sure we do it right. And all these regionals are done correctly; they're done right, and it makes the best experience for anybody who goes out there. Trust me, I'm a regional traveler. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're right on target. We didn't really talk about a lot of this stuff, but you're right on target. Number one, you got to figure out which one that you're traveling to, for your regular trip. That's one. And then we got to figure out which ones that you and I are going to go to be on site for. And
yes.
We'll let the cat out of the bag on that in a month or so, because again, it's planning and all those things as well, around our regular tour schedules too. So
yes, definitely. It's going to be a fun time. And this next year is going to be great for us as a tour and also, as a podcast, and we just keep getting better as we keep going.
Absolutely. Well, it's this time of year that, you and I try and slow down a little bit. We start, working on our schedules. Have you started yours yet?
Honestly, no, I haven't. I'm going to get with the guys that help me run it. We're going to kind of brainstorm. I have a couple ideas I want to try this year, see if it works out. It's a little different having two cities under one banner, I guess you could say.
Right.
So I kind of want to make it fair for, whether you're coming to El Paso or you're going to Las Cruces. So couple different tweaks I want to do throughout the year. Don't want to really let that information out yet in case anyone's listening. But
we know they're listening.
Right. I just don't need to hear the complaints yet. Give me a week or two. But no, it's gonna be a good time. I plan on going to up north a little more to Albuquerque and do a couple more events out there. I think they really enjoy us up there, and then who knows what the future will hold if they have their own tour or not. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I started working on mine last week, and we've got a couple things booked. And we got some news from a couple of our regular courses that we're normally on. We'll be back on them. Price has gone up,
right?
Which is and I know everybody knows. All our players know that it's normal. But some of the price increases were a little surprising, but it is what it is, and it's up to us to make sure that our players are seeing that value of coming out and playing with us every week.
Yeah, I think we do a great job about it. Just like anything else in the world right now, prices are going up everywhere. And you just gotta ride the wave and hope you don't fall off your surfboard and have a good time out there. I mean, that's the main thing, is go out there and have a good time.
Exactly. And nobody wants to see me on a surfboard anyway, so.
You liked that one, didn't you? That was from top of the noggin right there.
There you go. All right, my friend. Well, you enjoy yourself, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. We'll talk soon.
All right, bud. Take care. Chris, we didn't do it again.
What didn't we do?
We didn't say how to join the tour.
That's right. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tours membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.